0.78, you're clear.
Area 3608. Adam 876 without any knowledge is 502.
That's clear. Charles 32, clear me warning and send me that mental health call. Clear.
$143.
143.
You run a Arkansas
which is why the pilot enters the gliders.
143, that's clear, go ahead.
The gliders, also known as sailplanes, are a kind of aircraft that differ from the rest by their ability to fly great distances without the need of an engine or propulsion of any kind, even gaining altitude during their flight. But how is this possible? That's what I'm going to answer today in this video. Welcome to Joy Planes RC2. Personally, gliders are my favorite aircraft because they don't need an engine to fly, and because of the long, impressive wingspan they have. But their long wings have a reason to be. Let's start with the basics. We know that an airplane can fly or glide without an engine, but in the process it will gradually lose altitude, and depending on its weight, aerodynamics and other physical facts, it can go down faster. This happens to every airplane, regardless whether they are gliders or not. Without an engine, it is possible to fly for some distance and land as long as a constant speed and descent rate is maintained to be stable in flight. But the gliders are designed to take full advantage of this balance of forces. Gliders are made with lightweight materials, and the weight is distributed at strategic points in an efficient manner to improve air penetration. And the configuration of their wings allow them to have more lift with less aerodynamic drag. As a result, their glide ratio is one of the most efficient among all airplanes. The glide ratio is the distance that the aircraft can travel in respect to the lost altitude. For example, a Cessna 172 has a glide ratio of 9 or 9 to 1, which means that if its engine stops, it can fly from 100 meters of height for about 900 horizontal meters. In modern gliders, this gliding ratio can be between 40 to 1 to 70 to 1, which means that if a glider has a 50 to 1 glide ratio, then it could fly for 50 kilometers if it starts flying from 1 kilometer high, making it capable of covering long distances in this way. Still, it is impossible to gain altitude for an aircraft that moves through a static atmosphere without the use of propulsion of some kind. Luckily, our atmosphere is not static at all. To gain altitude, gliders can take advantage of various atmospheric phenomena. There are three main phenomena: the ridge lift, thermals, and wave lift. Thermals are the most common mentioned way to gain altitude in a glider. These are columns of hot air that are generated by the surface heated by the sun. This air becomes less dense than the surrounding air and begins to rise rapidly. The glider, when entering a thermal, can begin to fly in a circular pattern to stay inside it and gain altitude until the thermal disappears or weakens.
0.79, hour 37.
The other way to gain altitude is with a ridge lift. These are ascending currents of air on the slopes of the mountains. It's simply air that is forced to climb a mountain, and a glider can take advantage of this current to gain altitude. The closer to the slope, the stronger the climbing rate. The last kind of lift is the wave lift. It's about using the waves generated after the air passes through the mountain. These waves extend for several kilometers and are invisible waves, similar to the waves on the sea. Using these strategies to gain altitude, a glider can stay in flight for many hours. This is totally free and clean energy that glider pilots gather and manage to get the most out of it. However, to make the glider take off, you will need an airplane that will tow it to an acceptable altitude where the glider can start by itself. Another way to take off is with a tow winch from the ground. But the altitude gained in this method is not as much as the first method. Hopefully, in a sunny day, the glider can take thermals and fly longer. Other ways to take off in a glider is from the mountains, with a system of elastic ropes on a hillside, or by having a retractable propulsion system integrated into the glider that is only used to take off or gain altitude when needed. Why long and thin wings? The thin wings generate less aerodynamic drag than the common wings that are seen in self-propelled airplanes. In this way, the glider can pass through the air with less difficulty, obtaining the same lift and losing less speed than other airplanes. Another factor that helps for better aerodynamics is the design of the fuselage, making everything as smooth, thin and aerodynamic as possible, which is why the pilot enters the cockpit in much the same way as a Formula 1 driver in his car, almost lying down. The wings are also measured by aspect ratio. Glider wings have a high aspect ratio, and war airplane wings have a low aspect ratio. War or aerobatic aircraft wings generate more induced drag than the thin wings of gliders, but because they are short wings, they are more maneuverable. Maneuverability is a priority in warplanes rather than fuel efficiency. In the case of the gliders, it is not necessary to make quick maneuvers, so the priority is given to efficiency, sacrificing maneuverability. That's why the wings end up being naturally long, because the large wing area is required with the restriction of a reduced chord wing to minimize the drag. Gliders are built to be very light but strong at the same time. They are even so light that you have to put more weight on the wings to improve their penetration and speed characteristics. This is done by filling the glider with water ballast in special tanks inside the wings. The total weight of this ballast can be even higher than the pilot's weight. The water can be drained during the flight in case the thermals are not so strong, and must be also drained before every landing. In the beginning, gliders were made out of wood, with fabrics or metal, and then the use of composite materials like fiberglass, carbon fiber, and Kevlar was introduced, achieving a very huge structural resistance with very light weight. Flight instruments. Gliders are equipped with the basic instruments that can be found on any other aircraft, except for the flight instruments associated with the use of an engine. The most used and necessary instruments are the anemometer, altimeter, variometer, and compass. You can also find a turn coordinator, sometimes an accelerometer, and tools like a radio and a GPS.
South Central Mud 5, person Central Mud 5, holding a meet the citizen.
The gliders, also known as sailplanes, are a kind of aircraft that differ from the rest by their ability to fly.
At 1559 Clover Trail Lane, reference number 741 at 2317.
41 Charles, 32 seconds. Charles, 32 checking in mental health call on Chase Park.
41 Charles 32. I'm under control. We're still in servicing for the juvenile. I'm about to head to the reporting.
I'm loading.
Loading.
Lincoln 74, can we clear me on verbal 1?
That's clear. Take you off the board.
William 79. I'm trying to log on now.
Okay.
William 79.
Can you show me over William 78?
That's clear. Where do you want over 28 checking?
Or 28 on the screw.
A for DW 90 on the Spring Cypress.
North 52 checking. North Central Bridgestone local.
Baker today, Silverview.
North 13. Send me Bridgestone. Yes. North 13, you're clear. Checking route to local at 5431 FM 2920 Road. Reference number 791 at 2320.
North 56, you can send the DB. North 52 under control, thank you.
North 52, you're clear. Unit 20, suspicious person.
Unit 20.
14,111 North Sudley Castle Street. She reported advised someone was trying to open the back door of his house and now believes someone might be inside the garage. Just clear. Number 13, be advised, it's going to be the Cotton Patch Cafe.
Unit 20, that's clear. 87 Paul 03, 87 Paul 30. Good. Go ahead and check by this location. I want to clear this out. That's good.
Charles 32, I'm at the location. Can you find out where my report is at? I don't see them.
C for welfare check 15530 yellow.
41 North 18. Tom 30 OD. Can you send me a message, please?
Tom 30 OD. Sound clear? Sound clear ahead.
Houston.
Houston 112. Received. 41 Charles 32 disregard. I think I just found them.
Out of 15, go ahead.
Yeah, reference 152, you can send it to me.
That's fine.
William 58, check.
Channel 6.
It is, go ahead.
DPS 3.112, we're airborne and available. If you let the other districts know, that'd be great.
GPS clear. William 58, over 37, checking.
GPS showing 112 on C4.
GPS, you go ahead.
87 Apollo 3, 87 Sam 24.
GPS 112, just let you know we're airborne and available. If y'all need anything, holler.
GPS 112, you're clear, sir, thank you. William 58, Edward 37, William 79, and Tom 28 checking on you.
William 78, we're all secure in my seat.
63 Charles 30. Can I get a record of 601 Lockwood for a
Tom
vehicle
28
tow?
and William 78, you're both clear.
28, I'm good.
37, I'm secure, okay, extended. Edward 37, you're clear.
Need a record, 601 Lockwood, need a record, 601 Lockwood.
Frank 31 shows on control.
Baker 888, check.
Clear.
Clear. William 74, you're clear. 4 William 58, checking.
155, I just got off the phone with service with her. She's under control.
That's fine, thank you.